Why does it feel like your symptoms are not getting any better, or they keep coming back? You're kind of stuck, right? I want to explain this to you using the trauma triangle. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but I think it does it really, really well. But first of all, I also want to say, because I got a few emails from people being concerned about my health and my state of well-being, because of some of my recent posts or the poems that I put out, it might come across to some people that I am depressed or not doing well or suffering. Let me it's not the case. I recently had I don't know what you want to call it, an awakening or getting a glimpse of my true nature. And what I'm talking about in those poems and things is the ego death, right? That fake you. So just wanted to clarify that, right? I am well, my life's beautiful. Like I'm sitting here on the beach right now. Sun has not quite risen yet, as you might be able to tell. So yeah, just wanted to clarify that. Let's get back to why my symptoms are not changing or improving. What happens so often is when we're acting or reacting to situations, to things in life in a more unconscious kind of way, in an automated way, we're usually acting from the trauma triangle. Right? It's like the triangle. Each point represents a different role that we can play. One is the victim, the rescuer, and the perpetrator. Right? And once you're aware of those three roles within yourself, like you shift in those roles. I used to shift in those roles like crazy, right? And we can see other people shifting in those roles as well, right? Whether we're playing the victim roles to our symptoms, or whether we want to rescue other people when we see other people suffering, right? So many, instead of actually addressing our own suffering, because when we see the suffering in other people, it's usually just we see our own suffering, right? We want to rescue them because that seems almost easier than addressing our own deep emotional turmoils to go to those really painful wounds, right? So rescuing might be easier, right? And we are perpetrators, right? Sometimes we say things or do things or don't do things that really upset others and in ways as well, right? So we're acting within that trauma triangle, and also it's within the human, it's a natural building, I don't even know how to explain it. There's a tendency that we're always trying to be better, putting ourselves above other people, right? We can clearly see that when people have some symptoms or they have a diagnosis of narcissism, right? They're never wrong. Right? In their mind, they always see themselves as better than other people. Now, if we're playing the victim, right? In my sense, I perhaps wasn't so much in a narcissistic role, but I had to realize that I also do that, because the moment I think that the narcissist or that people that wronged me, did hurt me in unspeakable ways, are worse than me on an ethical and moral kind of ground, right? So I'm doing the same thing. I'm putting myself above, in that kind of sense, right? So noticing where we do that, right? To become aware is helping us with our symptoms. Where do I play or let myself be pulled in constantly doing things to be better than other people, and whether I am in a victim, perpetrator, or rescuer kind of role. And in terms of symptoms, we do that. It's very once I saw that, it was so clear to most of the symptoms just kind of dropped away for me, right? Because when I'm really identified with my symptoms, I'm in a victim role, right? And when I'm in a victim role to my symptoms, who is the perpetrator? The disease, the diagnosis, right? My body. I'm fighting against my body. I'm making my body wrong. Constantly. Right? Even to the point that people make a fever wrong. Well, a fever is the first, it's a natural response of the body to fight bacteria and viruses, because most bacterial and viral infections, they're very temperature sensitive, and if the temperature goes up a little bit, most of them would die. So it's a healthy defense mechanism of the body, right? Within reason. No, I'm not talking about, but you know how quickly we reach for something, and when we are reaching for something, whether this is a doctor, your naturopath, acupuncture, whatever kind of modalities or strategies you have to deal with the symptoms, that becomes the rescuer. Can you see that? Can you see that? When we are making the symptoms wrong and trying to fight them like they are a perpetrator and reaching out for other things to fix it. Can you see how that plays out? So when we can go inward and can really sit, oh, here's this, oh my God, this jittery, that restlessness that I used to have that all the time. It was almost like I could feel it in my muscles. I had to do something. I had to move. I have to move. I got to do. And I actually used to fall into it. I made that wrong. That symptom. I made that wrong. I vilified it. And my rescue became the gym. I went to do workouts, right? To get rid of all this extra energy, instead of just pausing and just allowing that sensation to just be. Nothing needed to be done. It didn't need to be changed, made wrong or right or good or bad or have a purpose or no purpose or the meaning and anything. I did all of that kind of stuff, right? Once you can see through that more clearly how we do that and how we constantly slide. The minute we go unconscious, we slide. We either play the rescuer, the victim, or the perpetrator. It doesn't matter, right? We cycle through them within the minutes sometimes, right? When things get really chaotic in life, or when we had a PTSD trigger or something like that, we can really cycle through this really, really, really fast, right? Or it did for me anyways. I'm curious to hear how that played out for you too, and if you can recognize it within yourself, in which situation you play what role, right? It might be very different when you're home alone, when you're out with friends that you get along with really well, when you're in difficult situations, just in the car. A lot of people have very quick switches when they're in the car, right? I'm gonna turn this around for you for a moment because it's just coming up, right? Can you see that? It is so beautiful. Yeah, that is all there is to this moment, right? There's the sun rising, there's no victim, there's no perpetrator, there's no rescuer. There's no need for any of that. I don't need to be better or worse or more humble or more entitled or any of that kind of stuff. Just this experience. I'll leave you with that.